I don't know, 3 or 4 over 20 inches, and
Sorry, I fixed audio, guys.
probably I don't know, 8 or 10 snow. It was a slow day, but I was actually had a couple in from Atlanta, really nice people, and I was actually pleased with the bite with the tide as bad as it was where I was at. I mean, I sat and watched the same mangrove leaf floating the water in front of me for 45 minutes.
The same one?
Same one. It was just like right there.
Did the leaf change? Did it get gray hair?
It didn't change. It just stayed right there. It moved forward about 6 foot.
So you were obviously not fishing in any of those windy areas, because let me tell you what, buddy, you couldn't have counted leaves where I was at the last couple of days.
No, it was not windy where I was at in this particular spot, and it was hot though. I will tell you that. It was hot today.
Very hot.
You got out a little bit of breeze. There wasn't much breeze anyway, but when you did get out of it, it was hot. But yeah, I was actually pretty pleased with the bite for the conditions, but not what?
I'm in my zone.
He's like a bobblehead, Jason the bobblehead. But not a good day, but a good day for what we fished.
Right.
You know. So
how was your trout bite today, Rick?
it was. I just said we caught about 15.
Yeah, but I mean, like
probably 3 or 4 over 20.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Big trout, Rick.
Yesterday we got 125.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's a big trout, buddy.
You just gonna throw it like
Congrats.
that? I got 125
Just
all year.
125.
125 yesterday and about a 23, and then several 17.
Did you
and
catch
19s.
that on the Snickers bar? That's been a hot ticket for me.
Snickers bars, or either if you don't want to use a Snickers bar, you can use the Milky Way.
The Milky Way.
Yeah.
That
No,
is the one.
actually, I'm starting to see
Big trout, Rick.
I'm starting to see some bigger trout move in.
Talk to me a little bit though, Rick, because I know you and I trout fish
Big trout, Rick.
a lot in the same area. Now, one of the things, like my opinion on some of these bigger trout, like I'm talking gator trout, 22
Rick
plus
trout.
like big Rick trout.
Big Rick trout.
Now,
Big
are
Rick.
you getting a lot of these bigger trout, or do you see most of your big trout come from the shallow flats?
No.
Or are you getting them in these deep pockets still?
I caught these trout today in 6 foot of water.
Okay.
And we all fished the area. It's south
Yeah.
to our home base.
Right.
And
That narrows it down.
Because I tell you,
6
man, a
foot
lot
south,
of my
that does kind of narrow it.
a lot of my big trout over the years, just as a general thing, have always come on a shallow grass flat fishing potholes, say for redfish or snook.
Because I think that's where you fish a lot.
No, I do.
I think
but I mean, and I'm not
yeah.
saying, but I mean, it just seems like
Yeah.
a lot of the times, more
That's
often
why I've
than
caught
not.
most of my tarpon out in the passes and at the bridge.
Because that's where they.
Because that's where I tarpon fish.
a lot.
I sense some sarcasm coming from
You
across
think?
the table over
There's
there.
got a little sarcasm going.
But no, I mean, as a general consensus, I mean, a lot of the places that I've been fishing, I mean, most of the trout are anywhere from 16 to 17 inches. I mean, there was a rare occurrence
Right.
of a big trout being.
Why don't you let us
in the
know
middle.
where that is so we don't go there?
Hey, them are keepers.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, 16.
Captain Chet Jennings, if he's white, those are keepers.
Yes. Hey, 16 to 17 inch trout right now, I'll take that all day long.
Speaking of Chet, we got to officially welcome on Facebook and on our Facebook feed and radio.
That's our boy.
Captain Chet's back in town, son.
Back in business, baby.
Hey, the old timer, man.
Coming around the horn.
He's coming around the horn. He's back in town. We're glad to have him back up.
We're gonna get him on the show one day. We're gonna drag him over here one day and tell him to give us a little piece of his mind, see what's going on,
Hey,
man.
I tell you what, that man's been fishing. He was guiding before
Yeah.
me or Rick was, and a long time before that, we probably
Yeah.
learned a couple things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm supposed to play golf with Chet tomorrow, and which I'm looking forward to. But
I didn't get the invite.
Let me
imagine
tell.
that.
Yeah, well, no, you guys got to pick up your game. But let me tell y'all a story about Chet, and Chet don't even know this. And I'm gonna tell him tomorrow about this. But
After the
when I
wilderness.
first started guiding 14 years ago, I'm fishing in the river in the wintertime, and I had fished a spot the day before, and there was like 200 snook piled up on this sand little bank there. And I go there the next day, and I got them to eat. So I go there the next day, and when I come around the corner, there sits Chet. And I didn't know Chet, but I mean, I knew who he was, but I didn't know Chet.
Right.
And so I just kind of said, well, this particular spot, there's room for one boat and one boat only. So I just kind of stayed on trolling motor and went right on around him. And his people spoke and said, hey, how are you? And I said, I'm doing good. I said, hey, man, I said, y'all are in a good spot. There was a ton of fish there yesterday. And Chet just kind of glared up at me like, you idiot. Get on out of here. What do you think? I'm bringing them to a bad
You
spot?
snowblower.
He never even
Get
said
out of
nothing.
If he could have called you a beanbag,
He'd have called me a beanbag, sure
enough.
enough. But I was the newcomer. I had been fishing Tampa Bay forever,
Sure.
but I wasn't guiding.
You were the new
And,
goer that day. You were
yeah.
going upon your way.
Old Gomer coming around the corner.
Chet had the old pose where you got the one leg up on the side of the boat, and you got your elbow on that leg, and you
Oh,
just
and he
kind of
was
standing
just-
there, and he just kind of
The old guide perch.
the
Yeah.
perch. And he just kind of looked at me and just kind of looked back away like, get on out of here, punk.
Go out of here, boy.
You young
Go out of here, boy.
whippersnapper.
Go tell us when you got about 14 years under your belt. Guess what? Now you're playing golf. I guess you're an
Yeah.
old timer, right?
I guess, but I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Gonna have some fun. I know Chet just from the water, speaking at the events and stuff, but I don't really know Chet, so I'm looking forward to getting to know him a little better.
I really
tomorrow.
wish I could play golf tomorrow.
I wish you could play golf.
Yeah, period.
Hey, my first shot.
You good out of the chute?
Hey, he'll figure it out real quick. He's used to playing with balls.
It's like Travis's prop on that Zuki. It's good out of the hole, but after that,
It's just no good. It's just
Hey,
a
buddy,
blowout.
it's down
It's just
good.
a blowout.
Hey, A to B, and put slime on the deck, baby.
slime on
She's
the
getting her
deck.
done.
But yep, Chet's back in town. He's back in business, and
We're happy to have him around.
absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's good to have the old timer back. He's still got some gas in the tank. I'm sure we'll learn
Always
learn
welcome.
something from him,
Always
rubbing
welcome
elbows.
the good guys back.
Yeah, the bad ones seem to stay. They never go away. But
They
God,
just-
you wish they
can't-
would sometimes. I mean, God, what a business this
Yeah,
is. That's
yeah.
all I can say.
Well,
Hear you.
I can tell you right now, and I'm not gonna give it away right now, but I got a pretty good come on, man. I think Jason wasn't there, but Rick was there.
Yeah, I got that.
It was a mess. But other than that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the redfish because I've been catching quite a few redfish, and it hadn't been not seen any big schools yet, but
No.
there's definitely some fish falling in. We've been catching some nice overslot fish here recently on very, very, to me, specific tides. I found a couple different tides that these fish want to eat on. I know the fish are sitting there, they just don't want to eat. And a couple days ago, we fished a little group trip, and we managed to stick, I think, we caught 2, lost 3 all in like 15, 20 minutes of pulling into a spot. So that was a really good sign to see that these fish are willing to cooperate. We're starting to get into some of these summertime high tides, which is a big change from what we've been fishing. We've been fishing a lot of this lower water,
Mhm.
and you can tell because a lot of guys, a lot of fishermen are out there and they're kind of trying to figure out where to go because they're halfway out and they're in, they're out. They don't know whether they should be fishing the bushes or they should be fishing the bars and
Right.
what are the fish doing. And these fish are starting to get acclimated to this water being in the bushes, I think. We've been doing a lot of fishing up under the bushes, deep under the bushes, and it's been pretty productive, especially for some of the bigger fish.
That's
So,
where, personally, I've caught all my redfish, which it hasn't been many. I haven't really been stroking them that good, but the redfish I have caught have been all up under the bushes.
yeah. I mean, I'd probably say 90%. We have caught some on some of the lower water out in the potholes, but a majority of the fish, I hadn't been targeting redfish until the water came up, and there's a handful of islands that I've been fishing, and they've been sitting there.
Well, you know what I did Sunday, because I had that one redfish Sunday, and that was the last redfish I caught Sunday.
That was a nice fish, too.
It was a
That's
good fish, but I
stud
didn't.
fish.
I didn't
Good
catch
slot.
any the last 3 days, but what I did, I knew they were in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, I didn't know they were in there, but just they seemed to always be there this time of year.
Right.
The water was high, so what I did, and I've done this in the past, and it seems to work, not all the time, but I started chumming my baits, and I was throwing them
In the trees.
10 foot deep
In the trees.
And
All the time.
And the guy says, well, you know, what are you doing? He goes, you're throwing them way back in the bushes. And I said, yeah, I'm trying to get those fish out.
Come out.
You throw those baits in there, those baits are coming out, and we want the fish to come out with them. And they did, and it worked. And we actually lost a red that day too, right the very next cast. So,
That
but they kind of paled in comparison to those that you caught that day. You
Well,
had
you know,
some studs.
it was one of them days where you just you get a little bit
all in
lucky.
days work.
Yeah, just
so-
days work. That's what
But,
we do.
Well, guys, we're flying
Instant
right
fishing.
through the first segment here, and it's going to be a good show. We got Captain Rick coming up on the backside. We're going to take a little break and hear some sponsors. When we get back, we're going to talk more fishing. You're listening to Tampa Fishing Outfitters Radio Show on Sports Talk 1040 The Team. We'll be right back. And welcome back, Tampa Fishing Outfitters Radio Show on Sports Talk 1040 The Team. The boys in the house, Captain Travis Yaeckel here at the helm.
It's like
My man, Captain Rick Lyles, and
a cormorant.
and
the cormorant.
and Ricky Bobby over here. We got him sitting in the
My
middle.
hands are going
Captain
up.
Jason Prieto
My
in the
hands are going
studios
up.
talking some fishing, guys. We appreciate you
I'll
joining
just-
in.
Hey, and we can see comments
And
tonight.
we can see
finally
comments
got our
tonight,
comments
so,
back.
so
and
chatter away, and we'll do our best to get them answered, guys.
I hear what you're saying, Clay. Evans.
Clay, we'll take your word for it. That is a long post, buddy. We got you, brother.
That's a good post, though. You got a lot
That's
of
up to you.
a lot of years experience there. So cool.
Greg, we're down in the South Shore area, buddy. Down from I'd say, well, the South Shore of Tampa Bay, really all of Tampa Bay, but we mainly fish out of the South Shore, down in Ruskin and Paula Beach area. So if you got any questions down this way, shoot them over, brother.
Speaking of Clay, it's my buddy, so I gotta give him a plug.
Plug him
Clay
up.
is now a official website builder. He's built websites for years.
Mm-hmm.
Check him out. Audacious. GetAudacious.com. He built my website. He's actually talking with Chet. Actually, he told me, and I forgot to tell you, for you to give him a call. You actually did a good job on your website. But I don't want to give you any credit, street credit. So,
Easy killer.
but he said give him a call. He had a
I need to
couple
talk to him.
things.
I do have some stuff I need to talk
Well,
to him
he
about.
said to call him, and you said you need to talk to him.
I know.
So it sounds like
Yeah.
Clay.
Hey, work it out. He's
See,
coming.
I
He's
did it
coming
right
at you,
there on
Clay.
the air.
I'm coming to you, Clay. I
But,
appreciate it,
if
brother.
you guys are in the market, whether you're fishing charter or any kind of business, Captain Clay will take care of you. He's a good guy too. He's honest. I
Yes.
got
Yep.
hosed
Yep.
on my last deal and went with Clay and very happy with the product, and he's a good guy too. So check him out.
Go with some
GetAudacious.com.
Check him out. Throw us the
Get
tides
the
and weather,
tides.
Rick.
This is the tides and weather for Sunday, May 7th. We got low tide at 7:23. It's a 0.75. High at 140, 1.61. The high temperature is 84. The low is 63. We're going to have winds out of the north-northwest at 10 to 15. Sunny skies and a 0% chance of rain. And that was brought to us by Alphi Marine.
Alphi Marine, the good folks over at Alphi Marine.
Beagle, Megan,
Check
Jesse,
'em out.
and the gang.
Got to thank them. Had to drop the boat off, get the oil change. First oil change on the new motor, getting ready for tarpon season. And in and out, man. Got the call back, come pick her up. So good to go, man.
Rick, what
Appreciate
time
the-
was our high tide on Sunday?
140.
140.
Look at you. You're in the zone.
So
You're in the zone.
I'm helping our folks out here.
I did too. I just got them a good place to go oil change.
You did.
Or
You
any
did.
kind of work.
But I'm gonna tell them a good place to go fish, man. On that high tide, I'm
He's so
telling you,
focused.
you gotta get up in them bushes. That's where these fish are gonna
You
go.
gotta get up in them bushes.
Norris.
Who's the fat guy in the middle? Oh,
It's
Norris.
not even funny, Norris. Norris is crazy.
He's acting like a pylon.
Yeah, the
But-
bushes are. Yeah, I'm acting like a pylon. This Captain Brett commenting on our page.
Well, here's one of the things, and a lot of guys are getting baits. You know, a lot of guys are still getting bait on the marker. A lot of guys are starting to get bait on the flats on a more regular basis. But there's a lot of big bait around. There's a lot of horse baits.
Yeah.
a lot of
tarpon
sardines
baits.
too, ain't
A lot
there?
of sardines. We'll talk about them guys in a minute. I can catch sardine. The new color of the Canyon Bay is sardine blue, by the way.
It is.
And we ain't talking scaled sardines.
But no. Anyway, so where I'm going with this is, and a lot of these bigger baits that you're getting, you know, you can use them. And a lot of guys, oh, you're not gonna eat that. Clip that tail and pitch that bait up under the bushes. Tail hook them, and what you're gonna find is those bigger baits are gonna swim up under them bushes a little bit better. They're going to give you a little bit more vibration. They're going to work for you. And if you consistently fish up under those bushes, you're not going to get a fish on every cast. And a lot of times them fish that bait will swim out. And you
Right.
reel him up and you throw him back under there. After about 2 or 3 throws on one of them bigger baits, they'll normally sit up under the bushes. They'll be so wore out. They'll just kind of do little circles up under the bushes or close to the edge. And with what Rick was saying before we came into out of the last segment about chumming deep into the cover.
Yeah.
Chumming deep into those bushes where those fish they'll back up all the way
Yeah.
back up to where they can't go any farther, and they'll face looking out of the bushes, and anything coming down that trough line, they're going to sting. And so by throwing that chum deeper in the bushes, you're getting them fish active back there. When they see one of them big baits on the edge or just up under the cover, they're going to smoke it. And that's where we've been getting a lot of these redfish. Now, another trick to that is getting them out. Because if you're going to fish under bushes, you're going to have
You
to
come
know how
out
to,
once they're hooked. Get
yeah,
them
once
out,
you get them out, you know.
Get that rod
And I
down.
always, exactly. That's
Get that
number
rod
one.
tip in the water.
The number one rule is don't
Take
ever
your
high
notes.
stick. Don't ever high stick a fish in the bushes. I mean, if you got a fish and he's under cover, don't high stick him. Go low, get the fish out. You can fight them. I mean, most of the fight down low. Once you know they're out of cover, then come back up high, get the fish, and you'll see that your success rate will greatly improve.
But-
And you're
by
very
doing that.
good at that.
I mean,
with
it
your
is
low
true.
center of gravity.
Yeah, I can get right down there. I don't even have to kneel down. See, that's
I mean,
what you
like
know,
Rick. I mean, he
It's
puts
tough-
the rod to the
it's-
side. It's
it's
still
tougher
8
for
foot in
me.
the air.
still 8 foot.
I mean,
I
Travis,
just got to lean over, dog.
he's got the reel in the water at that point.
Hey.
I mean,
Hey,
But what you're talking about, Travis, by dumping them baits deep, when those baits get in there, they're coming out.
Yeah.
They
Oh, yeah.
they know that's the crime scene.
and
in
then
there.
fish will start to extend their range
That's
on where they're
right.
willing to eat.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I say just put the heat on them.
Just put the heat on them.
Put the heat on 'em. You know, the one thing, and it probably goes to Captain's Tip of the Week, but it's something that drives me nuts. And actually, you did it the other day, Travis.
I
I'm
drive you nuts?
surprised. Well, you do drive me nuts every once in a while. People like to adjust their drag all the time. I like to use my hand. Leave them loose and use your hand.
Oh, it depends.
You
It
talking about
depends
just
on what
like
I'm
cupping
doing.
the spool.
Yeah.
But listen,
I do that with tarpon. I do that with everything.
if I'm fishing if I'm trout fishing, I got loose drags. Period. I'm loosening all the drags.
Dude, you had
TV
my
drags.
drag so tight we fished that day, we're going to break the leader.
No. Well, that little peanut knot you tie.
Oh,
but
here we
listen,
go.
when you're gonna fish under the bushes, especially when you're gonna put somebody and throw them up under the bushes, to give them a shot, you better not loose drag them, because they're gonna crank reel. They're not like you and I, where they're gonna palm a spool and try to pull a fish
Right.
out. You got to give them
You
that
did that
shot.
with me, though. Then I was about to put some heat on it on top of the heat. and I was-
Dude,
What was this? I don't remember this.
I got yelled at by Larry McGuire one time. I was out fishing with him offshore.
That's
You
that
got
old
yelled at a lot
That's
in
that
your
old
early
crusty
years.
reel you don't ever wash. It wasn't a
Man,
drag.
I got hooked into a big cobia, and man, that drag was sticking. Zit,
Yeah.
zit, zit. So I loosened it up and went too far loose with it.
Zoom.
And so I tightened her back down. We finally got that fish to the boat, and Larry said, "You mess with my drag?" I said, "Yeah." Man, he says, "Don't you ever."
Did he throat punch you?
I thought he was.
Classic
I thought he
Norris
was.
style.
He said, "Don't you ever mess with the drags on my reels. I'm like, yes, sir. Not a problem. Won't do that again.
Oh, it's one of those things, man, where I don't really do it a whole bunch either as far as adjusting the drags, but when I do fish the bushes, I will tighten those drags up to give you an extra shot. Because here's the deal. You let that fish slide back 10 feet, it's game over.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's game over.
The
100%.
Travis
That might
Saints are coming out.
100%.
That might be why you lose all your fish in the bushes.
No, I usually catch them.
That might be why.
I usually
Or
catch
you got to
them.
dive in after them. I'm good at that too.
Yeah, I did that. I only do that for and Billy Knowles would have tested this. We were fishing a spot around Cockroach Bay, and there's a lot of big snook there in early September. And I pulled with my good customer Jeff, and he was in there, and it was mid-September when them fish are kind of getting off their spawn, and we pulled empty the live well out, and the big ones all of a sudden just lit up.
Started chewing.
Dude, we lost like 4 big snook, and he lost like 3. Like it's in the mangroves, so like you don't have a good chance.
Yeah.
Well, he happens to hook one fish. He actually wrote an article in the paper about it the next week, and he had real good clients. I've actually taken for him one time. It was one of his really good clients, and they hooked a big one, and the fish ran over and gets on my power pole, and so I see the fish. I instantly just hit the power pole button. I jump in the water for his clients. After we lost 4 big ones. Like just couldn't stop them. Like they were studs. And ended up getting a 38-inch snook. And his clients were high fiving. He's like, I can't believe you jumped in the water for me. I was like, man, the fish was right there.
Yeah.
And we lost every fish we hooked in there. It was just, we had them. You ever get them when they start blowing
they
up
just
on
start
the chum?
chewing, man.
And,
I call snook light switch fish, man. 'Cause they are.
Yeah.
It's like instantly can be game on.
Yeah.
But
he customers loved it. Billy was, he had to write his Tampa Tribune deal, and my stepdad actually reads the paper. He's like, man, Billy was mentioning you on the column. I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But so I jump in the water every once in a while, usually for other people's fish, though.
I had 2 man overboards on one trip last week.
Travis.
It was rough, man.
Sunday was a train wreck for you, man.
It was not. And it was funny because everything went bad except the fishing. The fishing was actually really good, but everything else was a train wreck, man.
Travis showed up at the marker like this.
Which way do I go? Which way do I go?
Well, when you're fishing as much as guides do, almost. I mean, a lot of guys are booked up this time of year. Actually, I've been slow this week, which is kind of odd in May, but it's almost been, you want to make the money, but I've gotten caught up on some stuff that between our
Right.
move.
It's tough, man.
But usually when you're fishing every day and you get that one day where, and I had it last Friday when I fished for Brett Norris. It's like the first throw at the marker, and I had so many sardines. I pulled the Travis, but then I one-upped you when the net actually ripped. But I guess you took offense to that, and I heard you went out there Sunday and did it. Had to one-up me on that.
Listen, it is.
So, when your day starts off like that, it just, you try to keep that positive attitude, but it's just like.
You just got to keep pushing forward. And
There was
the nice thing about what we have here is a group of guys that we all work together. And when you're out there and you got that issue and you got that problem that is just going to haunt you for the rest of the day, it's nice having good guys around you to be able to cover some slack,
To lean on
a little bit,
No doubt.
and get you through some of that stuff. And
Dude, I'm knocking you while you're down. What are you talking about?
Hey.
What? This is what I did to him. He
Hey.
got so mad. He's at the marker, and he hit them sardines, and I told you not to throw there.
Dude, no, he chums up. He goes,
Well, y'all need to clarify
He
because
goes,
people
"Hey."
listening, when we say sardines,
We're
not
talking
talking
Spanish
Spanish
sardines.
we're not talking about scaled sardines.
Scaled sardines, aka pilchards, greenbacks,
Right.
whitebait.
That's
That's
what
we want.
But
But
cigar
scaled-
minnows,
or cigar minnows
Spanish
or
sardines,
Spanish
where you want
sardines,
taboo.
they are not for us, except for snapper fishing, maybe green
Right.
fishing. But guys, enough about us. We're going to take a little break. We're going to hear a few words from the sponsors. And when we get back, we're going to have the come on, man.
We're going to talk some more fishing, too.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Take us out.
You listen to Tampa Fishing Outfitters Radio on Sports Talk 1040 The Team. We'll be right back. and welcome back to another great episode of Tampa Fishing Outfitters radio show on Sports Talk 1040 Team. What's so funny?
It's like
I just shifted gears.
it's
dude.
like when my wife is yelling at me.
I just barked him in seconds.
Do it
son.
over again. All right, timeout. Scratch that.
Yeah. No. Hey, we're coming back on. I had to stop my conversation.
Hey, we gotta scratch it. Go
What?
for it. Do it again. Act like nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
And welcome to another great episode of Tampa. Are you being serious?
Yeah, go. Keep it going. You're
No,
good.
I'm not doing
You're good.
Welcome back to another great episode of Tampa Fishing Outfitters Radio 1040 The Team. Take
Keep
it
it
from
going,
here,
keep it
boys.
going, baby.
Take it from
it. Come on,
That's
man.
the
We just
cut.
did the Come On
That-
Man on the air.
That was the call.
Well, that was a little confusing.
Our four intros here. We finally get
Just
one through.
edit and clip whatever you like there.
That
We'll
was,
take one
that
of
was
one of them.
shameless plugs
Yeah.
right there, just in case you didn't know who you're listening to.
Yeah.
That was professional at its finest, guys. But I got to come on, man. This
Let's
week.
hear it, man. You got to share this because I
tell you,
witnessed
it was
epic.
it was a train wreck and a happening, man. I pulled out to the marker. What time I get there, Rick? About 7
Yeah,
or so.
yeah, maybe. Yeah,
7:10, a little bit
Yeah.
past, something like that. Light had just started to get daylight, and we all had a group trip. So I rolled out there, and old Rick is in the front of the marker.
I did a circle and Mark bait
And Mark
good,
bait.
and I said, okay, I'm
Game
first
over.
in line here. This is gonna be good.
So old Rick slides around there and chucks the net, and he pulls it up, and I'm watching. I'm loading the net, getting live well full, and I'm like,
I
all
had a
right,
net full.
wiping my eyes, trying to wake up a little bit, and I see old Rick pull it in, and all his bait seems to fall right out of his
It
net
did.
down to the pocket.
It
Beautiful. I go, man, that's got to be white bait. Period. Got to be white bait. So I get old I get old HD out, son, old Hellcat, swing her around, throw one time, son, braille to braille, and I thought I hooked. I thought I hooked
I heard
Moby Dick.
I
son.
heard him yell, and it wasn't pleasant what he yelled, but I was drifting off because I
Dude.
had freaking a wad of sardines,
When you take
Spanish sardines. So I'm trying to pick the good baits out and do all mine. So I probably drifted 150 yards off the marker. I didn't realize what I knew. I knew he did bad.
anybody
because of
on the
the
South
language.
Shore, anybody
But-
on the South Shore knew that Captain Trav was having a bad
Yes.
morning.
But then now explaining that, tell him what happened from there.
So I pursed the net up, son. We drift by the net. I'm pursing the net up, and I go, there is no way I'm hung. There's no way I'm hung. I'm way off the marker. I'm pulling. Finally, it starts coming, son. It looks like the Goodyear blimp coming up off the bottom. Straight freaking Spanish sardine. Dude, I get the horn up to where I'm at, and from the horn, like 3 foot down, I can't even lift it up out of the water. And it is just
It's
from the
probably
top
good I wouldn't know.
to the
I
bottom.
would've probably
Now,
started
here's the
laughing.
bad part. So
I
the
wish
bad
I'd have
part
been
is,
close enough to start taking pictures. Is how bad.
I
it
got a
was.
picture. I'll post a picture, but I ended up getting it up, right? And I'm like, all right, well, in the pocket of the net, and as I went by the marker, I saw all the Spanish sardines on top. Well, underneath it was greenbacks, a whitebait laying on the bottom. So I smoked the sardines on the way down, and then I smoked the greenbacks once they hit the bottom. So in the purse of the net was greenbacks. On all outside was nothing but Spanish sardines. So I finally get it. Well, I start to try to get it in the boat, and as I'm pulling it over, the net's just ripping in my hands.
Why was it ripping?
Because there was so much
Dude,
weight
I'm
in
telling
it.
you,
I'm telling you, dude.
I've never ripped one like that.
No, dude.
You've never seen that
Insane.
kind of weight.
Insane. So I finally get a little bit of the net to where it won't fall out of the boat. And I call J-Tom over, Captain Jason Thompson. I said, dude, you got to get on here and help me get this thing over the edge. So he climbs on my boat, and it took everything he and I had to finally get the net in the boat after we ripped it a couple times. And the first thing I did was just open it up like a big sardine present. I just ripped the net and started scooping whitebait out of the middle of the net.
And I got over there to him a few minutes later, after he had
The
done
entire back of the boat was
that.
fish.
It looked like he still had a wad of fish in the net. It looked like a bean bag. His net looked like a
of
bean
sardines.
bag. I'm telling you, it was.
was
I've never
insane.
seen anything like
Well,
it.
It was insane.
I will tell you this to our listeners out there. I talked to Captain Will, buddy of mine, and Will Shook, and he told me they're getting sardines at the bridge too. I think they're a little bigger where they're not gilling.
Probably.
I have never seen sardines like
Never.
we have this year.
They
I've
are
never
bad,
seen one.
man.
It's crazy.
They are bad. And you and I had talked about some stuff about maybe some of these kingfish and some of these bigger mackerel that we've been catching. It may be a
Maybe they're on a diet and they're
there
not
may
eating
be a
them or
correlation
something.
there where these are following some of these big Spanish sardine schools, because these obviously aren't little tiny pods of
These
sardines.
aren't- this
These
ain't
are
normal.
giant
Yeah, this
schools
ain't normal.
of Spanish sardines. And when I say I filled a net, folks, I filled a net full of them, and it was a very stressful morning. But we got through it, caught a lot of fish, and it was
Scroll down.
after that it was a pretty good day. So But that's my come on man of the week. So what I'm going to say is be careful. If you don't know what you're throwing on, be careful, especially if you're throwing a big net. Because I tell you what, man, and
the boys
at
Tampa Fishing
honesty,
Outfitters love.
Listen, in all
See,
honesty,
that's my little 10-foot net. It just slides right in there and does this deal.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Travis.
there's a point at where I did that the last time, and there was like 3-footers out there, and it really got to the point where it was sort of unsafe. I mean, like I couldn't get the net in. I was trying, I was slipping, and there was a point where you start to get, your arms start to get tired, and you're trying to take care of your net and everything. And I ended up, donating a net to the cause that day because there was nothing you could do, man. It was dangerous.
I will tell you this, and I've got a couple Calusa nets, and I have some humpback nets, and they're the same mesh, but they're not. The humpback nets are a bigger 3/8 mesh than the 2 Calusas I have, because there's places that you would throw, and I would throw my humpback one day, and then I got a nice Calusa that I had fixed. I really like the net, and I threw it in the same day, and I didn't gill them. So I think the mesh is a little bit bigger on the humpbacks, and it might be smaller on your Lee Fisher than what the humpbacks are.
I think it is
I'm
because they had to be the same baits, and I didn't gill them.
Yeah, dude. Well, that was weird because I had them from all sizes. There was little tiny guys, and there were some of the bigger ones, and a lot of the bigger ones fell out. That's what I was picking out of my live well all day, was some of those bigger ones. But I mean, they come and they get so tight, and they're a fast fish, so they instantly go to the net. They instantly shoot into the net, and they gill themselves. Period.
But they're not that smart because you always catch them.
Oh yeah.
They ain't like thread fins. Thread fins are pretty fast. Like you have to, you got to kind of get them around structure. Like if you throw on.
Well, in the mountain of bait we had that morning, there was 12 foot of solid bait coming up off the bottom, and I got it. I got all 12 foot of it. I got all 12 foot of it.
He depleted the sardine.
My goodness.
After it was all over, I was thinking, good job, Trav.
We don't have the worst sardines.
Tomorrow, if I come here, I won't have to battle them as bad.
It was a train wreck.
End result is, guys, there's plenty of bait on the flats. Start making it on the flats. Here's been the disaster. We have a lot of Spanish sardines on the markers, and we have a lot of snotgrass on the flats. So it's almost pick your poison. You can go to the markers, and then you also have a lot of threadfin showing up, which honestly, I like getting a mix because I like the cut bait.
I hear you on that, but you can always cut the pins. But I'll use it. I've never taken a penalty with my putter in golf, and I've never lost a net on the flats.
This is going to be my new sign for.
I'm
getting ready to switch.
Hey, I've never lost a net on the flats. So
when
I'll
you
throw
see
that
this
net
one,
on the flats
when you see
anytime.
this one, I got 2 signs. I got this one, and I got this one.
What's that one?
A pinfish. Put a pinfish on.
Cut them.
Because it's getting time, baby.
Yeah.
It's getting time.
Are you really doing
You got
that?
it? You got it?
He's full of it.
You
It's
got it?
this, it's this.
Not short.
No,
That's short.
You got to spread,
them out.
spines.
You got to pin them.
This is what happens when you eat too much popies. Anybody don't know, Travis got Popey Life on his tattooed on his stomach.
Cross my belly button, son.
But yeah, so there's plenty of bait on the flats. You just gotta try to work around the snotgrass. I don't know the whole story with the snotgrass. I know that it's not natural.
It's not natural here this time of year. You're talking about the gorilla snot, the black.
Yeah, I call it snotgrass.
And it's got a pungent smell to it. And normally we'll get that in the fall, like down at the port, Port Manatee. We'll start seeing, not in the fall, in the late summer, early fall, but we'll start seeing that in like July.
I'm seeing it now.
We don't see it in April, and it's here. And
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about the red tide getting us this year because our water never got that cold, and I'm worried that maybe some of the, and I'm not a biologist, I don't know, but I'm just worried about it because we shouldn't be seeing this gorilla snot right now.
I'm surprised too because I was down there fishing in that area this weekend, and it was tough to fish, but surprisingly the water was really clear.
The water was clear.
Just the grass. There was just snotgrass. And I went out and I did some scouting for some tarpon and did some stuff out in the middle of the bay. And on an outgoing tide, the rip of grass was just insane. I mean, it was like 15 feet wide from the port almost to the bridge. Yeah. Just a giant ball of grass going out. And so you're right. It's here, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going anywhere for a while.
No,
because there's nothing going to knock it off.
It sticks on the regular grass on the bottom,
and then it just comes back up.
It breaks apart, but there's so much of it. I mean, every flat has it. So it's kind of
it makes fishing tough.
It's a train wreck.
I'll tell you something else I was going to talk about, and I want to talk about it real quick because it's not going to take long before we go to break here. But We were down in South Florida fishing this weekend, and my cousin grabbed a bag. You guys heard of this Boca Coast? There's a guy, I can't think of his name now, but he's got some chum out. And it's the funniest stuff I've ever seen, man. It's like a bubbly chum. It's weird. It smells like black licorice. And when you throw it in, it like sinks to the bottom and it kind of floats back up, like fizzes back up.
Really?
It's really interesting. Like you mix it up in a bucket,
Does it
man.
work?
Fizz. It worked pretty well. It worked pretty good. I know a lot of the guys down in South Florida are using it and stuff. But I was curious to know, as far as our listeners, if anybody's tried it up in Tampa Bay or if anybody's using any of that chum. I don't know the name of it, but I know it's has something to do with the Boca Coast group or the guy that started Boca Coast. And I know it's kind of been a hot item down there. A lot of guys been talking about that chum, but it was kind of interesting. I don't know if it was better than what we're using or worse, whatever, but it was definitely different.
It's Snodgrass with Purina 45.
It might be. It might be.
Hey, I'm gonna
it
stick
might
with
be.
what
You
I'm
said
using.
black liquor?
Yeah, no,
I've
100%.
been using that for 20 years, and it's been.
Yeah, I was
working,
just
so.
curious to know if anybody had tried it up this way, just to
Well,
topic of conversation.
I used to use, way back in the day, we do like whole wheat bread with Jack Mackerel.
Right.
And everybody kind of discovered the
Purina.
The Purina, and it's so much easier. I mean, the Jack Mackerel, and actually John Pava still uses Jack Mackerel, but it's kind of
Cozy Kitten.
Well, I'm gonna
Remember
say,
the Cozy Kitten?
hey,
Cozy Kitten days?
I'll march out and say one thing though. Like, if you're gonna go, and I know you guys don't a lot, but there's times and certain times of the year where I'll go catch whitebait, and then I'll go catch pinfish, and I use Jack Mackerel to catch
Perfect for
pinfish.
pins. Yeah.
It will smoke the pinfish over
Yeah.
Purina chum
I
any
agree
day of the
with
week.
that.
So I
Really?
always, yeah,
See, I
100%.
never tried.
Just for pinfish,
I never
though.
actually
you'll,
paid
you will, because they'll
attention.
eat the chunks. You
Yeah.
can also
That
you can
makes
also take
sense,
white
'cause
baits
it's
and,
dense.
and rip them up, and they'll eat them too. But guys, we're gonna run out of time in our third segment of the show. When we get back, we're gonna be talking more fishing. We're gonna do the captain's tip of the week, so it should be good. Hang tight. We appreciate you following us so far this show. And when we get back, we're gonna talk some more fishing, guys. You're listening to Tampa Fishing Outfitters radio show on Sports Talk 1040 The Team. We'll be right back.
Stop by Tampa Fishing Outfitters today and check out our Ohiro product line. Rods, reels, fluorocarbon lines, braided lines, hooks, and much more. Packed with an incredible inventory of over 10,000 items in stock, Tampa Fishing Outfitters is the perfect destination for any of your fishing needs. We also carry a great selection of sunglasses and fishing apparel. Our knowledgeable guides are here to answer all of your questions and to repair your rods and reels. Visit any of our 3 convenient locations for all of your fishing needs. Tampa Fishing Outfitters. If we don't have it, you don't need it.
And welcome back to Tampa Fishing Outfitters Radio Show 1040 The Team. I'm Captain Rick. I'm here with Captain Jason and Captain Travis. We are here to
Talk
answer
fishing.
your questions and talk fishing. If you have a question, let's hear it on. You can put a comment. This is only for the people watching on Facebook, but we can take a question on comment. And thank you, Jeffrey Page. I like that comment. You guys rock. We very seldom get told that we're doing good. It's usually that we're doing bad. So thank you, Jeffrey.
Positive comments are always
yes,
welcome.
thanks, Jeff. Yes, absolutely. But anyway, what we were talking before the break about catching pinfish on
Jack Mackerel.
and I will tell you something else that works pretty good. It's hard to find, and you have to find it at the lesser supermarkets, I guess you could say. It's called Cozy Kitten. It's a cat food. And they don't have it like Publix, nothing like that. But if you go to a Food Line or some of these
Gullies and Ruskin used to sell it.
yeah, but it works good. It's about maybe a third
Who?
to half the cost.
Gullies, the
Gullies.
discount grocery.
Scratch and dent, baby.
Scratch and dent, baby. You wouldn't know about
Hey,
that,
that's a blue blood.
princess.
Silver spoon in his
Princess,
mouth.
if that thing didn't come from
500.
back home.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on, Facebook here, and we're on the air, and you guys are talking about Gullies, which
Gullies.
is about 3 people.
Hey.
They're gonna know where Gullies
No,
is.
Hey, if you've
there's
been
a
to
couple
Ruskin, you
Gullies.
know
There's
where
one in
Come on,
Gibsontown,
dog.
man. Come on, scratch and dent.
Listen,
Scratch
princess.
and
Hey,
get out
before we
the
get
house.
to the captain's tip of the week, let me tell on air what I was just talking about when we were on break there. We did an event last Friday out of Hula Bay for Brett Norris. A lot of the boats went to over to Weeden Island to fish, and I was one of those boats. I went to the back and fished, and about halfway through the trip, I come out front. And when I come out front and turned the corner and started heading there towards Pappy's Point, there were 6 or 7 guide boats. And this is me giving a kudos to the recreational anglers. There was like 6 or 7 guide boats there stacked up trying to find these redfish. And I was on trolling motor, and I went by every one of them and never saw the first line get tight. I went kind of, where the shoreline kind of turns
Yep.
there. I went down there. I went about 200 yards farther, and there's 3 recreational boats down there.
Smoking them.
And they were jacking them up, and I thought, this is so awesome. I love to see that. These guys out here, they are just, I'm talking, wearing these redfish out. And there wasn't room for me to get in there, and if it would have been guide boats, I know I probably would have got waved in. So these guys were like, man, keep this joker out of here. But I just thought it was funny. Here's all these guys down there.
You didn't whistle blow them? You didn't whistle blow them?
No, I just went on around and said, good job, fellas. Y'all keep it up, and went on my
Where was the
merry
secret
way.
spot at?
They were fishing that deep
secret spot. They were just
They were
fishing.
fishing that deep hole on the edge of Cappy's.
They were just north of that big giant sand hole.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just absolutely wearing them out. And I thought, that's so funny that those, 400 yards farther back, here's all these guys out there that are, running around in circles trying to find these fish, stumbling on top of each other.
At any day of the week, anybody could find that school of Eden Island, man.
But that's that's me. That's what
kudos,
I'm saying.
you're right.
Kudos to the
them,
recreational guys, and they were being as quiet as they could be.
The redfish are like, we're gonna let these rec guys get
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. It was awesome.
We're
It
gonna
was
show
great.
these guide boys that they ain't quite as good as they think they are. But well, we got a question. Nick Mueller was asking about locations for tarpon. Nick, I wish I had an answer for you. My tarpon season is about to get geared up. I'm moving over to St. Pete for tarpon. I haven't done any tarpon fishing yet. I know that there's some at the bridge, and I know it's not a big surprise. I don't think there's any on the beach yet. I think this next moon phase we have is gonna get everything kind of kicking and jump start it. I will tell you this wind has got to quit. It's going to screw our tarpon season up. If not, it did last year, and if it continues to blow, it's just, we got late cold fronts coming in. We've got 20-knot winds blowing from every direction. It's really got to quit for the tarpon. It's just not gonna. It's gonna screw things up. So I wish I had a better report.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Nick also posted on the Boca Coast Baitfish Chum. That may be what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was what it was.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
I
you're
wanted
good.
to get that before you scrolled up.
Yeah, so I haven't done. I just haven't. I haven't got out and done tarpon fishing. Next week, I'm actually Monday. I've got off. Then I'm booked crazy, and Monday I'm actually going to move my boat over and go put a little time in and go check some stuff.
I'll be getting a phone call.
Yeah, any of you guys want to
I'll
go jump on the boat?
Let's go scout.
If you guys want to roll, let's do it. But so we're gonna go out. And I gotta put my time in over there this year and get dialed back in and make the move. It is gonna be nice if this works out, because making that move to St. Pete is, because I'm going from one end of the bay to the other, and you're trying to, with inshore and everything, trying to find bait and everything. And typically, I'm doing that on charters, like rolling right in, and it's a little bit of a headache. I mean, I survived, but it's quite the jump to do that. It's kind of challenging, because you're mixing inshore with tarpon. But Nick, I suspect a good safe bet is the bridge. I wish I had better information. I know some of the smaller bridges in St. Pete also are going to hold some fish, and I suspect that next week after, we're going to see them start popping on the beaches.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping this year that
I have actually heard they're already at the beach.
They're already here.
Yeah.
They're already here. I fished down south, and we were talking about on the way over. Tarpon season, I don't know if I would consider it to be in full swing down south, but there's definitely a lot of guys have switched to a tarpon
that big
mode.
knot of fish hadn't moved.
No. But what ends up happening is we get a lot of stragglers. The fish will show up here, just not when you say fish. It's not 100, 200 fish, but there's fish showing up. There's guys flying fish, and
I want the big
Captain
eyes.
Clay asked a question here, and he says, when you get a call about a charter from May to July, do you encourage people to tarpon fish, or do you gladly accept inshore catch anything trips? Which trips do you prefer to run during the summer? And I'll kind of chime in first. Really, what I do is I ask the client what their expectations are. A lot of times if somebody wants to go tarpon fishing, they're going to say it. They're going to say, hey, we want to go tarpon fishing. Do you catch tarpon? Blah, 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 blah. That's automatically a tarpon trip if they want to do that. Now, with the way I tarpon fish, I'm going to do some early tarpon trips, probably have to venture out into some areas that I don't normally do a whole lot of tarpon fishing client-wise with. But anyhow, what I like to do is depending on the time, the date, when they want to go, what they want to get out of it. A lot of people don't know, especially cold callers, they don't know that you can't eat tarpon. They don't know, how long it takes. They don't know
something else.
They don't know that you may sit there for an hour or so before you get a bite. You may not even land one. There's a whole lot of things to it. So first,
Well, something else real quick before you go any further. you can change a lot of minds by letting them know that there's a premium for a tarpon trip.
Sure.
It's going to cost them a little more.
Absolutely.
And it's a specialty deal. You know, people.
I don't. Do y'all do half-day tarpon trips?
No,
I don't. I do
6 and
6.
10
No, it's a 6-hour
So
trip.
sometimes that's a driver. Plus,
Yeah.
you get a premium price on it. Plus, I don't take 4 people on a tarpon trip. 3's the max. So
But the good
a
thing,
lot of that information, when you start filtering it to them, it'll make their mind up.
right. And a good thing, like what I was going to finish up with, and then I'll let one of you guys chime in on that. But where I like to tarpon fish and where I do most of my tarpon fishing, I've got sharks, I've got snapper, I've got cobia, I've got kingfish,
You're fishing inside the
I've
bay.
got other options to
Right.
where if that bite's slow or if it's not happening, I can bounce around. All the gear that I'm using
Right.
is very similar to my tarpon gear, especially my bottom gear or whatever I'm going to use, and it always gives you that out. Whereas if you're fishing, say, the beach, or you're fishing out at Bean Point,
You're stuck.
you're out there, you've
Yeah.
kind of dedicated your
All
day
your eggs are in that basket.
to that
whether you want
tarpon
them or
trip,
not.
or if you've got like a nearshore wreck or something that you can put if you get the day, weather dependent. But to kind of answer your question, Clay, I love running tarpon trips. I love taking people and catching tarpon, but there's also some particulars to tarpon fishing that I think if me as a guide, if I don't enlighten my customers on what they're getting into when they book a tarpon trip and what they can expect, that I think sometimes you shortchange them on what they can expect. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it's not always like going and catching 40 snook or going and catching a limit of this or
It's
limit
not
of that.
snook fishing.
It can be the most epic thing you've ever done, but then again, it can
It'll be
be
the boringest thing
that
you've
one
ever
bite,
done.
that one fish, and you've waited for 5 hours for
But
it.
that's big fish
But-
fishing.
But that's big
You
fish
know?
fishing.
I mean,
So
that's-
I think, and all that being said, I think it goes back to us and our responsibility by knowing and educating our customers or our clients that aren't that up to speed on what they're getting into. And a lot of them, believe it or not, right off and go, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a
Well,
great time.
I know Clay
You
is,
know?
is hardcore tarpon, and I know where he's going with this question. I personally, I push tarpon during the season because it is tarpon season.
Right.
But I have a lot of customers that say, I do not want to tarpon fish.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're good customers. They've been with me for years. And
Yep.
I'm not going to
Right.
make them tarpon fish. Even though I move there's a lot involved for me with tarpon. I move my boat.
Mhm.
I get a lift. I've got to go buy crabs. I got it's a whole ordeal.
But the common question always comes up is, well, if tarpon fishing is slow,
no,
can we try something else? Can we?
Nope.
Can we? Is there a plan B?
we can.
And
but
you're
it's
right.
kind of
I mean,
its own deal.
it's
you got to put your time in.
if you want to be a serious tarpon fisherman and you want to get out there and be successful, you need to have all the baits required. You need to be geared up, and you need to be ready to fish when the fish are ready to eat.
I'm gonna
So
tell you-
That may
I'm
be
gonna tell
sitting
you-
there waiting
I'm
for
gonna
them
tell you
or
why I
patterning
don't.
the fish, and
I'll tell you why I don't change course. Like, say, we're tarpon fishing, it ain't happening, let's go do something else. Because when someone books a tarpon trip with me, they're booking a 6-hour ordeal. Now, this may sound selfish, but it is a business. This ain't no hobby. I do it to make a living. That takes me out of it working 2 doubles.
yeah.
So when they want to tarpon fish, we're tarpon fishing, and we're not going to tarpon
I
fish.
agree.
We're not going to tarpon fish for an hour and snook and redfish and trout fish for 5 hours and not have that rate. Because if you want to do that, then book an inshore trip for that. If you want to do the 6 hour, that's fine. But I mean, when I put the equipment on the boat, that's the equipment we have.
Right.
If you want to shark or trout fish with 650s and Terramars,
No.
it's no fun.
No, and real quick, I know we're about to wrap, but I agree with what Clay is saying as far as I talk about bay fishing. That same gear, I can go catch mackerel, I can go catch kingfish, sharks, whatever. But
Well, boys, it's been a great show.
Wrap it up,
I'm
Jay.
glad I was-
Take it, wrap it
Hey,
up.
man, we're in it. Hey, it's been nice and sweet, but we got to roll, boys.
We're going to Cracker
It's
Barrel.
been a great show. Until next week, tight lines and go catch them up.
thanks, guys. We appreciate it.